and gentlemen, welcome to the main event.
Sandy VCAL PD presents the Sports Corner Podcast.
Let's get ready to rumble!
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is 2Sweet Podcast, and today I'll be going through some news, reviews, and rumors. And yes, I'm saying I, because Don couldn't make it today. All the best, mate. And first of all, I'd just like to say I am glad to be back behind the mic after 2 long weeks of not being here. Don took over me 2 weeks ago. Good on you with the MMA podcast, mate. And last week, we were visiting the supercars. It was all fun. And today, I am back better than ever. Have a lot of rumors to talk about. I'm going to be talking about Fastlane. I'm going to be talking about Raw and SmackDown. And going through my top 6 best and worst WrestleManias. My top 6 best and worst WrestleMania main events. And my predictions for WrestleMania 34. Okay, we're going to start off with the rumor mill today. And today, Daniel Bryan's contract will expire on the 23rd of November. And speaking of Daniel Bryan, I wish him the best of luck at WrestleMania 34 now that he's cleared. I'm super excited for WrestleMania now that Daniel Bryan's cleared. According to Dave Meltzer, Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano, the AJ Styles of NXT, will definitely be happening at NXT TakeOver New Orleans. Now, there's a lot of build going on between Johnny wrestling and Tommaso Ciampa. Tommaso screwed Johnny out of an NXT title, and I'm really excited for this match. Both Samoa Joe and Jason Jordan to return at the European tour, and words going around saying that Samoa Joe could be also returning at WrestleMania 34 as well. And oh god, here's where I don't know where to begin with Kurt Hawkins. Apparently, he's searching for a new way to win matches, and the new way to win a match is by having Braun Strowman to be his tag team partner at WrestleMania. Are you kidding me? Seriously? Like, this is the dumbest thing I've heard from a wrestler all year. He's nearly at 200 losses right now, and I don't know how this is going to make Kurt Hawkins any better. All right, with the John Cena versus The Undertaker, the match may not be official until the go-home show on Raw. Now, there's been a lot of build between John Cena and The Undertaker, and I say this is the most interesting I've seen out of John Cena. You know, him being desperate to go to WrestleMania. He had a match at Elimination Chamber, lost. Had a match at Fastlane, lost. Now all that's left for him is The Undertaker. With TNA Impact and Lucha Underground show set for WrestleMania weekend in New Orleans at WrestleCon. And its main event is Austin Aries and Phoenix versus Alberto El Patron and Pentagon Jr. And I may not be a big fan of TNA, but I am a huge fan of Lucha Underground. I may be excited for this event more than WrestleMania 34. Lillian Garcia to guest ring announce this first ever Women's Battle Royal. And by the way, this isn't the first ever Battle Royal featuring women. They had a Divas Battle Royal at the 25th annual WrestleMania, and I have no idea what to say. WWE's just dumb. Zack Sabre Jr. won the New Japan Cup. Good on you, buddy. Vader is set to undergo heart surgery. Now, I wish Vader all the best of luck. New WWE Women's Tag Team titles. Now, I really don't know what to say about this. What I said a few weeks ago about women main event in WrestleMania, I take that all back. With when you have women like Charlotte and Asuka who are main event caliber, that's a good way to end a WrestleMania. But with new women's tag team titles? Seriously? I have no idea where to begin with this. like, it's strange that there's rumors going around that there will be a women's main event at next year's WrestleMania, which would be a good way to end it. But new women's tag team titles? Seriously? All right. Hulk Hogan possibly returning to WWE as a SmackDown general manager. Now, there's been word going around about Hulk Hogan returning. With Daniel Bryan now cleared to wrestle, Hulk Hogan saying that, well, not Hulk Hogan. There's plenty of wrestling fans out there saying that Hulk Hogan may have an attempt to become SmackDown general manager. Samoa Joe to potentially be Braun Strowman's partner at WrestleMania, and after that, he'll be going after the Universal title against Roman Reigns. Now, this is easily the most predictable match at WrestleMania history, aside from WrestleMania 32's main event, Roman Reigns and Triple H. With Roman Reigns winning the Universal title, I think this could be the best possible way for Roman Reigns to have his first ever title defense with the Universal title. Samoa Joe and Roman Reigns make a good fit for a wrestling match. Now, this is one of the most interesting things I've seen. The greatest Royal Rumble card revealed. Now, I've been looking at Wikipedia lately about the greatest Royal Rumble, and apparently some matches were written on the page. Now, I'm going to read them out to you. I don't know if this will happen, if it's just a possible way to book this pay-per-view, but I'm going to read it to you anyways. So the obvious match, the greatest Royal Rumble match featuring 50 men. Shinsuke Nakamura as WWE Champion versus Bobby Roode for the belt. Roman Reigns as the Universal Champion against Bobby Lashley. The Miz, Seth Rollins, Finn Balor, and Samoa Joe in a ladder match for the Intercontinental title. Jinder Mahal as the United States Champion versus Dolph Ziggler for the belt. Cesaro and Sheamus versus the Hardy Boys for the Raw Tag Team Champions. Now, I want to talk about the Hardys for 1 second before I continue on. With Jeff Hardy now back from injury, something's telling me that the Hardy Boys will be called the Woken Hardys. You know, with Matt Hardy now turned Woken and Jeff Hardy making a surprise appearance as Brother Nero on the Ultimate Deletion. And do you seriously want to keep the Hardys as the Hardy Boys? Like, seriously. The Bludgeon Brothers versus the Usos, with the Bludgeon Brothers as SmackDown Tag Team Champions. Now, I want to talk about this match for 1 second. This match should have happened at Fastlane. There is no way in hell that they would be fine with the New Day versus the Usos at Fastlane. The Bludgeon Brothers and the Usos should have happened at Fastlane. With the Cruiserweight Championship match, Mustafa Ali versus Drew Gulak. Now, I am really excited for the Cedric Alexander versus Mustafa Ali at WrestleMania 34. There could be a way for this match to be a pre-show match or a main card match. I say make this a main card match because the Cruiserweights have been on a better roll with Triple H owning the Cruiserweights along with Drake Maverick as the GM. And finally, John Cena and Triple H to battle at WrestleMania 34. Not WrestleMania 34. At the Greatest Royal Rumble in Arabia. Now, like I said, this has just happened on Wikipedia. I don't know if this is actually going to happen. Let's continue on with rumors. Continue on. Sami Zayn's lucha gimmick, El Generico, to return. Now, I've been looking at Sami Zayn's lucha gimmick, and this is the best I've seen out of Sami Zayn. It just looks incredible. All right, Charlotte is to expect to return next week on SmackDown, and she may not miss some house shows this weekend. Speaking of coming back, Shane McMahon is expected to be back early next week, and some health issues along with the storyline. Now, about Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, and Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon's storyline, it was just hard to watch. Like, it was okay at first, then it just drops down. And now with Daniel Bryan now back to be wrestling, back to wrestling, I think this storyline just grew even better. According to the Wrap, Paul Heyman's WWE deal is up around the same time as Brock Lesnar, and if he leaves, it's likely Paul Heyman's time as well. Now, there's nothing else left for Lesnar. There's nothing else left for Heyman either. I say both of them leave. This is your best moment this is Lesnar's moment to return to UFC, and Heyman, I don't know what's next for him. PW Insider notes WWE may be looking at doing a series of cooking and fitness with a recent trademarking filling for Talking Smack. Now, cooking and fitness? Fitness is one thing, but cooking? For WWE? Seriously? Just seriously, this is the dumbest thing I've heard. Per Wrestling Inc., the woman that Asuka beat on Raw this week, Jamie Frost, was wrestling her first match ever. Now, bringing in an unexperienced wrestler to fight Asuka was one thing, but having her just knocked out by one kick, she was just too easy for Asuka. Now, John Cena owns Kane. Now, I was looking at cage side seats the other day, and this was interesting considering where they are. I'm gonna read this by cage side seats. Considering where they are in their respective careers, John Cena's wins over Kane in the main event of this week's episode of Raw could very well represent the last match these two wrestlers against each other on pay-per-view or television. That makes a little tidbit even more interesting. And this is a tweet here from WWE Stats and Info. That was the 6th time that John Cena and Kane have faced off in a singles match in their WWE TV/pay-per-view careers. With tonight's win on Raw, Cena is now a perfect 6-0 against the Big Red Monster when they go one-on-one. Hashtag Cena versus Kane at WrestleMania. That's probably less surprising than it should be. You'd think Kane would have stolen a win at this point, but no. LOL, Cena wins lives. And yeah, with things are looking right now, but with Cena and Kane, it pretty much looks like John Cena owns Kane. And Rich Swann has been around for months now. Rich Swann is retired. I said a few weeks ago that Rich Swann is retired, is looking to come into Lucha Underground. There's been tweets around him saying, after all the bookings I've taken, I'm so scared to step into the ring, but I can't wait, LOL. But after they're done, I will be retiring. Thank you for taking the chance on my name. Then Swann went on to further explain maybe why he is walking away from the sport. Damn, I lost my dream job. Well, even though I'm going to be blown up as F, I can't wait to wrestle again. So that means Rich Swann's retirement will not be going for long. He could be returning to Lucha Underground. All right. And speaking of the greatest Royal Rumble for Australian fans of wrestling, the greatest Royal Rumble will be airing on pay-per-view. And I'm one of those wrestling fans in Australia, and I cannot wait for the greatest Royal Rumble. All right. And yeah, I'm going to be going over my WrestleMania predictions before I get into Raw and SmackDown. So for my WrestleMania 34 predictions for Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns, obviously for Roman Reigns to win this, there's no doubt about it. With AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura, I'd say have Shinsuke win it, because there's no other way. Like, with this storyline between AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura, with Styles winning the World Heavyweight title over Jinder Mahal on SmackDown a few months ago, this is pretty much mostly gonna be like AJ beats Mahal for the World Heavyweight title, held it for a few months, then dropping it to Nakamura at WrestleMania. This is more likely to be that. The Miz versus Seth Rollins versus Finn Balor. Now, I've got a lot to talk about Raw this week, but I'm going to get to this match first. Now, with The Miz, Rollins, and Balor, it's a huge wild card. For this match, I'm going to be going for Finn Balor because the guy's hardly been used right. I say this is his time. Let him win the Intercontinental title, and yeah. Randy Orton versus Bobby Roode versus Jinder Mahal versus Rusev. It was a triple threat match to start with, and then it turned into a fatal four-way last night on SmackDown. And it's for the United States title. Now, I want to talk about the triple threat match. Well, the former triple threat match. That also should have happened at Fastlane. I've been talking about the Bludgeon Brothers and Usos happening at Fastlane, but it didn't. It should have been a triple threat match either way, but Randy Orton versus Bobby Roode versus Jinder Mahal should have happened at Fastlane. What made WWE think that just a one-on-one match between Bobby Roode and Randy Orton is a great idea? Oh, let's have Randy Orton and Bobby Roode at Fastlane. Let's just save Jinder Mahal for WrestleMania. Are you serious? Like, Jinder Mahal being saved for WrestleMania? Like, the guy's hardly that good. Are you serious? And, yeah, I gotta say for this Fatal 4-Way match, Rusev to win it. Now, weeks ago I told you guys about Rusev and Lana not being happy about SmackDown Live. Rusev hardly getting any screen time along with Lana, hardly getting opportunities. And I say this is the perfect time for Rusev to be back on top of the mountain. Let him win the United States title. Forget Jinder Mahal. Forget Bobby Roode. Forget Randy Orton. Let this be Rusev Day! Alright, so for Nia Jax and Alexa Bliss for the Raw Women's title, I say let Nia Jax win it. She's already dead because of Enzo Amore. I say this is her perfect time to win the Raw Women's title. Alexa Bliss had an amazing run, but I think this is her time to drop the title. Alexa Bliss is hardly defending the title. The last time that she defended it before the Elimination Chamber was TLC. So that's not really a good champion in my opinion. I say drop it to Nia Jax at WrestleMania. For Charlotte Flair and Asuka for the SmackDown Women's title, I say let Asuka win it. Let Asuka win the SmackDown Women's title because Asuka, she's already done so much on Raw. I say move her to SmackDown, let her fight some more competition, and have her fight Natalya or Carmella or Naomi. Let Charlotte have a rematch for the SmackDown Women's title, and yeah. For the Raw Women's title, for the Raw Tag Team titles, Cesaro and Sheamus versus Braun Strowman and a partner of his choice for the Raw Tag Team titles. Now, there's been word going around that's saying it could be Elias, Samoa Joe, or in that idiot Kurt Hawkins' opinion, him. And I say bring in Elias. I say bring in Elias to bring Strowman's partner, but WWE's just probably going to have Strowman take on Cesaro and Sheamus alone and have him win the Raw Tag Team titles. But yeah, I say give Strowman the titles. The Usos versus the New Day versus the Bludgeon Brothers. Now, I already said that the Bludgeon Brothers and Usos should have happened at Fastlane. The New Day never should have been contenders for the titles. But yeah, I gotta say, this is the first time that Harper and Rowan were given anything on the main roster in the last few years. Now, Harper may have been given the SmackDown Tag Team titles a year ago on SmackDown Live, and the guy was hardly used after that. So yeah, I gotta say, this is the Bludgeon Brothers' perfect time to become the team that they were supposed to be ever since their revival as the Bludgeon Brothers. Mustafa Ali versus Cedric Alexander for the Cruiserweight title. Now, I've already spoken about the Cruiserweights with Triple H owning the Cruiserweights and Drake Maverick being the GM for the Cruiserweights. And I gotta say, I am more excited for the Cruiserweight title match than any other match. Because Cedric Alexander and Mustafa Ali, I love those two wrestlers. They bring their souls, bring their heart and soul into the ring. And I gotta say, give Mustafa Ali the Cruiserweight title. I love Cedric Alexander. It should be his time. He should have been given the Cruiserweight title like 2 months ago at the Royal Rumble before Enzo's release. But yeah, I gotta say, yeah, this is a nail biter. I'd say give it to Mustafa Ali. Kurt Angle and Ronda Rousey versus Triple H and Stephanie McMahon in a mixed tag team match. Now, this is the most horrendous build-up to any kind of match I have ever seen, aside from Reigns and Lesnar. Now, this is obviously going to be Kurt Angle and Ronda Rousey's match. They're going to win this. Triple H and Stephanie McMahon, they're going to lose it. Stephanie McMahon's going to be looked like the Vince McMahon of the modern day era, and Ronda Rousey is going to be looking like the Stone Cold of the modern day era. The first ever women's battle royal. Now, I already said that this is not the first ever. This is the second ever. And for the winner of this match, I have no idea who I think should win it. I think this battle royal should be between Bayley and Sasha Banks, because this past week on Raw, they were bashing each other's heads in the backstage. Now, if you want to turn Sasha Banks heel, do it in front of a live audience. Backstage is fine, but in the ring, in front of a live audience, that's a better way to turn someone heel. Though, yeah, for the winner of this Women's Battle Royal, I have no idea who should win it. I'd say let either Banks or Bayley to win it. The Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. And I said a few weeks ago that there were rumors going around saying that this is not going to happen, but thanks to the revival, it is happening. Now, for the winner of this match, I don't know who should win it. With Dolph Ziggler in this match, I think he should win it. Dolph Ziggler's been hardly used recently. Like, ever since he returned, it was hardly anything. He returned, then just nothing. 2 minutes in the Royal Rumble, hardly meant anything. But I think this is the perfect way for Dolph Ziggler to be rekindled. Have Dolph Ziggler win this Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal and have him redeem his career. Daniel Bryan versus Shane McMahon versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn in a tag team match. And if Owens and Zayn win, they will be reinstated on SmackDown. But if they lose, they will remain fired. Now, they hardly look like they're going to be fired. They're going to remain fired. Now, this is just part of the storyline. I think Zayn and Owens are gonna win this match because, like I said, this is part of the storyline. It's just gonna be bad guys win over good guys and stuff like that. But I gotta say, this is the second match I'm looking forward to because Daniel Bryan is coming back along with and siding with Shane McMahon. I cannot wait for this. Okay, now going over my Raw review. Now, it's sad that I'm going to be doing this because I hardly liked Raw this week. I thought it was pretty boring. It was just that hard to watch. There were hardly any highlights. Okay, so the show started off with Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman talking about how Roman Reigns is the biggest badass of the WWE, which I'm sorry, it's just too easy to laugh at because Roman Reigns is easily the worst wrestler of the WWE, and he doesn't deserve to be in the main event of WrestleMania again. And speaking of Roman Reigns, he comes in, gets a beatdown from Brock Lesnar again for the second week. And yeah, I don't know how this is gonna roll in next week, but it's probably gonna be Brock Lesnar beating up Roman Reigns again. And Yeah. Yeah, there's nothing else special. There's just Matt Hardy coming into the Andre Giant Memorial Battle Royal, Banks and Bailey with a backstage assault. And The Miz and the Miz Taraj, Finn Balor and Seth Rollins on Miz TV. Now, I think this is the most interesting segment out of the entire card today. Out of the entire show that week. Now, with Miz talking trash on the Miz Taraj on how bad they've been, I think this is the perfect way for Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel to be redeeming themselves. Like they were hardly being used right in on Raw. I think this is the perfect way for both Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel to be revived as singles competitors and have a match at WrestleMania, turn this into a fatal 5-way. Now, I am not a big fan of some multi-man matches, but I think this is the perfect way for Curtis Axel and Bo Dallas to be revived as singles competitors and to be used correctly. Now, I'm going to be talking about SmackDown because, like I said, nothing special happened on Raw. It was just boring as hell. SmackDown had probably one of the most interesting shows out of the entire year. Well, aside from last week, this week was also interesting. Randy Orton, the match, the show started off with Randy Orton and Bobby Roode versus Rusev and Jinder Mahal. Now, I'm not a big fan of Jinder Mahal, but I am a big fan of Rusev replacing Sunil Singh. And I know Sunil and his brother were a former tag team in the NXT, but Randy Orton kept bashing the hell out of him. And the winner of this match was Jinder Mahal and Rusev. I give this match a 3 stars because of Rusev. He was just too fun to watch. Now, after the match, Rusev Day, Jinder Mahal, and Sunil Singh were backstage. Jinder Mahal was saying that after he wins the United States title, which is most likely going to happen because of the card that I told you about for the Greatest Royal Rumble, he'll be inviting Rusev and Aiden English to his celebration. And because of Rusev's pinning on Randy Orton last night, Jinder Mahal will be taking on Rusev at WrestleMania, turning this into a fatal 4-way. Now, I'm glad that Rusev's getting the opportunity he deserves. After that, Shinsuke Nakamura walks into AJ Styles' locker room and tells AJ Styles that he wants him in the corner of his match with Shelton Benjamin that night. Now, I don't really know why Shelton Benjamin was in the main event of last night's SmackDown Live. It was just a one-sided beatdown. It was just too lazy to watch, really. After that segment, Becky Lynch versus Ruby Riott, another match between these women, and Becky Lynch looked really good last night. And I'm not talking about her outfit. Her outfit looked great, by the way. But her moves with Ruby Riott, it really impressed me. Not only did she impress me, I think her match with Ruby Riott alone just impressed me. I think she and Ruby Riott make a good pairing in a match. And after the match, Becky Lynch won, and she single-handedly took out the Riott Squad. Now, this is the kind of side that I want to see from Becky Lynch. Like, be the badass of the SmackDown Women's Division, and yeah, that's what I want to see from Becky Lynch. And by single-handedly taking out the Riott Squad, I think that just proved to everyone that Becky Lynch is the biggest badass of the SmackDown Women's Division. And after that, Daniel Bryan's promo. Now, I just want to talk about last week's promo with Daniel Bryan. I think it was one of Daniel Bryan's best promo. Aside from his retirement speech, I think last week's promo was great. Last night's promo was his third best. But I want to talk about last week's especially with what his wife Brie Bella said to Daniel Bryan. If you keep fighting for your dreams will fight for you. Now, that's probably my favorite thing from last week's promo. But with this week's promo, he issued out a challenge to Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn at WrestleMania to take on both Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon. And like I said, this is the second match I'm looking forward to at this year's WrestleMania. And I gotta say, Daniel Bryan looks ready. He's ready to go. WWE's just been hiding Daniel Bryan as a secret. Like, they've been keeping Daniel Bryan out of the ring for so long. It just eats him alive. All right, after Daniel Bryan's promo, the New Day took on the Bludgeon Brothers, and the Bludgeon Brothers won by disqualification because the Usos taken out Eric Rowan, even though he wasn't the legal man, which led up to the triple threat match at WrestleMania 34. After that, after the Bludgeon Brothers versus the New Day, it was an okay match. Got 2.5 stars out of me. Dolph Ziggler versus Tyler Breeze. Now, Breezango is also entering the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal as well. And this match gets 1 star. I couldn't fathom this match. This match, it was just too hard to watch. It's like I'm watching a circus act right here. Like, seriously. I'm watching professional wrestling, and here I am watching 2 clowns and a guy who should be world heavyweight champion for like months and months, and this is the result you give me? You have okay matches to just a downright circus act. Yeah, this match gets 1 star. Get Breezango off my TV or break the team up. I don't really care. Move on. The main event, Shinsuke Nakamura with AJ Styles in his corner versus Shelton Benjamin with Chad Gable in his corner. Now, I already talked about Shelton Benjamin and Chad Gable. The team is boring. The team was hardly used after their feud with the New Day over pancakes. Worst feud I've ever seen, by the way. And yeah, I think Shelton Benjamin should be a singles competitor, because with this team with Chad Gable, it's just killing them. They're just boring to watch. They say they're the top athletes of the SmackDown roster, even though they have the skills, they have the moves, but they just don't go as a tag team. I really think this team should break up, go their separate ways. Shinsuke won with a King Shatsa to Shelton Benjamin. 1, 2, 3. This match gets also 2.5 stars from me. And with the way how this match ended, with Shelton Benjamin and Chad Gable taking out AJ Styles and Nakamura coming in to save AJ Styles, and faking a Kinshasa on AJ Styles, I think this is also another match I'm really looking forward to with Styles and Nakamura. With Wrestle Kingdom 10's match being great, I don't know how great Wrestle Kingdom 34's match is gonna be with these two. All right. Now I'm gonna be going over my top 6 best and my top 5, best and worst WrestleManias. I'm gonna be going over my best WrestleManias first. All right, so for number 5, I put down WrestleMania 24. Now, as a kid, I already told you guys earlier. I told you guys weeks ago that this was my favorite WrestleMania, but there were other WrestleManias that I would consider better than this one. With WrestleMania 24, I still love it to this day. I loved it as a kid then. I love it today now. With the main event being Edge and The Undertaker, that's on my top 6 best WrestleMania main events. You will find out whereabouts it will be. John Cena, Triple H, and Randy Orton, and I still love that. Kane and Chavo Guerrero for the ECW title, I hated that. The Money in the Bank ladder match, I loved. I thought it was the second best match of the card. The Belfast Brawl with Finlay and JBL, I didn't mind it. And some of the other matches were on the level of all right. All right, so for number 4, I put down WrestleMania 33. Now, people may be saying, why wouldn't you put WrestleMania 33 on number 4? It's one of the worst modern day WrestleManias. Wrong. WrestleMania 33, it did a really, really great job, but it went downhill. Now, I'm not gonna judge The Undertaker off that one match with Roman Reigns. That the match is awful. It's on my worst WrestleMania main events. You will find out whereabouts as well. But from start to in the middle of the card, I absolutely loved WrestleMania 33. I thought AJ Styles and Shane McMahon, it was a massive, massive way to open up the pay-per-view. And with the Raw women's titles, SmackDown women's title, the Universal title match. Now, it went for 4 minutes, but in a way, it sort of worked with Goldberg and Brock Lesnar. It sort of worked. I really didn't know why, but it just did. All right, so for number 3, I put down WrestleMania 30 as my third favorite. Now, you may be also saying, why would I put WrestleMania 30 as my third favorite WrestleMania? Well, from start to end, it was really nice. I kind of didn't like the Divas Championship match. It was just too quick. I just didn't find it overall nice. But John Cena and Bray Wyatt, I also find all right. But the main events with Daniel Bryan, Randy Orton, and Dave Bautista, I found it to be a glorious way to close WrestleMania 30. Now, people have been saying that they wanted Daniel Bryan in the main event, but I thought that the WrestleMania 30 main event was kind of rushed, but people really wanted it. WWE, he just gave the fans what they wanted. I thought it was a great decision. For number 2, I put down WrestleMania 19. I thought that 19 was the second best WrestleMania because from start to end it was really great. But the one match that was terrible on the card was Booker T and Triple H for the World Heavyweight title. I was watching What Culture the other day, and this was the number 1 in WWE Injustice. Go check out What Culture's channel on YouTube. They're the greatest guys that I've ever seen on YouTube. Now, from start to end, WrestleMania 19 was great. It opened up with Rey Mysterio and Matt Hardy version 1 as for the Cruiserweight title. Now, I love Matt Hardy version 1, but I think his broken gimmick saved him. Next was The Undertaker and A-Train and Big Show. I also liked it. And the Middle Light Catfight Girls. Now, it was far better than the Cat versus Terry at WrestleMania 2000. Yeah, I was watching the Cat and Terry at WrestleMania 2000 the other night with my big brother. We both hated it. We couldn't stand that match. But I think the Miller Lite Catfight Girls did far better than Terry and the Cat. In the main event with Kurt Angle and Brock Lesnar for the WWE title, I thought it was a really, really great main event. That is also on my best WrestleMania main events. You'll find out whereabouts as well. And for number 1, the absolute best WrestleMania of all time is WrestleMania 17. From start to end, again, it was a phenomenal time. But I think the best match out of the entire card was the Triple Threat ladder match, Triple Threat TLC match between the Hardy Boys, the Dudley Boys, and Edge and Christian. It was also The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin as the main event. I also like that. Chris Jericho, William Regal, WrestleMania as the start of WrestleMania. It was great. Like I said, the entire card from start to end, it was brilliant. Now onto my top 5 worst WrestleManias. For number 5, I put down WrestleMania 29. Now, people will be also saying, why would I put WrestleMania 29 as number 5? Well, overall, it wasn't too bad. It was just too boring. Now, the main event with The Rock and John Cena for the WWE title, quote-unquote, once in a lifetime, it was just too boring to watch. It was another predictable match. I didn't know what to say about this match and what to say about the card overall. Now, I didn't mind The Undertaker and CM Punk. I thought it was the best match of the card. Triple H, Brock Lesnar, I also didn't mind. There was also... Jesus. Oh, yeah, Daniel Bryan and Kane versus Dolph Ziggler and Big E Langston. There was also... Yeah, no, there was the 6-man tag team match between The Shield and Randy Orton, Sheamus and Big Show. I thought that was not the best way to open up WrestleMania. For number 4, WrestleMania 9. And people will be saying, why would I put WrestleMania 9 as number 4? Because of the main event itself. The main event itself, with Hulk Hogan and Yokozuna, a match that's that wasn't announced. It was just terrible. It was just terrible. Like the original main event, Yokozuna versus Bret Hart for the World Heavyweight title, was all right. The Undertaker versus Giant Gonzalez, And most of the other matches were pretty forgettable. Number 3 is WrestleMania 2 because of the nothing wrong with the main event between Yokozuna. Not Yokozuna. King Kong Bundy and Hulk Hogan. I didn't mind the steel cage match, but I hated for the fact that WWE actually tried an attempt to go separate locations for WrestleMania 2. It was like, what? Why would they do that? Now, people will be thinking that WWE were stupid at the time, which they were because of decisions like having Hulk Hogan beat Yokozuna in 22 seconds for the World Heavyweight title, have separate locations for WrestleMania 2, and stuff like that. But yeah, I think that was stupid for WWE to have 3 separate locations for WrestleMania 2. And for number 2, WrestleMania 27. Now, it would have been ironic to put WrestleMania 2 as number 2, but I think WrestleMania 27 did worse than WrestleMania 2. Why? Because the card was just absolutely lazy. Why? Because of the main event itself, Michael Cole versus Jerry Lawler, the worst WrestleMania match ever, number 1 worst. I wish I made a list of the worst WrestleMania matches instead of main events, but I'm sticking with main events because the main event's the biggest thing on WrestleMania. The 8-man tag team match between the Core, Santino Marella, Vladimir Kozlov, Big Show, and Kane. It went for 1 minute. It was a 1-minute squash match between the Core and Santino Marella and Big Show, Kane, and Vladimir Kozlov. It was just, God. Just make it end. Make the torture end at WrestleMania 27. It was a stupidity ride. The only highlights of WrestleMania 27 was the stage itself. Edge and Alberto Del Rio, I didn't find all right. I did find it okay-ish. And CM Punk and Randy Orton, judged by that match alone, because of who they are, they were both great. And number 1, easily the worst WrestleMania of all time, was WrestleMania 32. There's nothing else I could say about WrestleMania 32. It was easily the worst WrestleMania of all time. You would put 9 as number 1 if you want. You would put number 2 if you want. You would put 27. You would put 29 if you want to. You would put WrestleMania 16, aka 2000. You would put 15 in there. You would put 5. You would put in 6. You would put in 7. Any kind of WrestleMania you would want. But I don't think there's any WrestleMania worse than WrestleMania 32. WrestleMania 32 was easily the absolute worst because of the match card. It was just too lazy. Roman Reigns winning the World Heavyweight title in one of the most predictable matches ever. The Rock killing Eric Rowan and the Wyatt family in 6 seconds. John Cena not turning heel on The Rock. Zack Ryder winning the Intercontinental title over Kevin Owens, the man of the WWE, who is being killed. And just the League of Nations being killed on WrestleMania. Now, the League of Nations may suck as a team, but based off those 4 superstars, they have great potential of being World Heavyweight Champions, especially Wade Barrett and Rusev and Alberto Del Rio and Sheamus. But I think that team was only made to make Roman Reigns better, and here they are at WrestleMania 32 against the New Day. There they were at WrestleMania 32 against the New Day, and they beat the New Day at WrestleMania 32, and there they were getting killed by legends. Now, I have nothing against Mick Foley, Shawn Michaels, and Stone Cold Steve Austin, but I have a feeling that they were just there to bring in the nostalgic for WWE fans. My brother and I have been going through this the other day, and yeah, that's my top 5 best and worst WrestleManias. I will go over the worst WrestleMania matches, main event matches, and the top 6 best WrestleMania main events of all time. Okay, so for the best ones, I'm going to start off with Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart at WrestleMania 12 because it went for 60 minutes. The Michaels and Bret Hart were beating the absolute hell out of each other. There was nothing else I could say about this match. Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart pull off the best match out of the whole card on WrestleMania 12. Going into sudden death, Shawn Michaels pulling off a super kick, 1, 2, 3, and probably one of the best quotes from a commentator saying, "The boyhood dream has come true for Shawn Michaels." It was brilliant. It's every kind of man's dream to be WWE champion, or to be any world champion, for that matter. Edge versus The Undertaker, WrestleMania 24. Now, I said that The Undertaker and... I said that WrestleMania 24 was one of my favorite WrestleManias ever. That's my 5th favorite. But I think this match alone makes WrestleMania 24 worth watching again, because the main event of WrestleMania 24... it was just worth watching. It was just worth watching. Edge and Undertaker trying to bash the hell out of each other for the World Heavyweight title. Edge trying to end the streak, trying to defend the World Heavyweight title while he was at it. There was nothing else I can say about Edge and Undertaker at WrestleMania 24. I think this match alone was just made WrestleMania 24. You had the triple threat match for the WWE title. You had the Money in the Bank ladder match. Those matches would have made you a WrestleMania 24, but I think this match made my WrestleMania 24. WrestleMania 28's The Rock versus John Cena. Now, going into this match, I didn't know who would win. Usually it would be Big Match John taking the win, but having The Rock win it just basically destroyed John Cena. And I'm talking about the aftermath of the match, but I want to talk about some in-match. Now, it was once in a lifetime. What more would you want from 2 legends, two future Hall of Famers, one that should be, and one's that 16-time world champion and deserves to be? They were just pulling off all the stops, attitude adjustments, rock bottoms, people's elbows, 5-knuckle shuffles. It was just brilliant. It was brilliant. Number 3 is Kurt Angle versus Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 19. Now, I did say that WrestleMania 19 is my 2nd favorite WrestleMania ever, but I think this match is my 3rd favorite. I have 2 others that are bigger than this match, but I'm gonna get to this match first. Kurt Angle versus Brock Lesnar. I think it was a good build towards WrestleMania 19. And Brock Lesnar trying to go for a 450 splash. It was great. I loved it. And it nearly ended Brock Lesnar. Like, he landed right on his head after failing that splash. And it was worth the risk of winning the WWE title. Number 2 is Triple H versus Shawn Michaels versus Chris Benoit at WrestleMania 20. 20 will be getting an honorable mention as one of my favorite WrestleManias. But this match, I think, made the entire card of WrestleMania 20. From the end of WrestleMania 20, with Chris Benoit winning the World Heavyweight title, it drops tears from your eyes. With Eddie Guerrero defending the WWE title against Kurt Angle, and Chris Benoit winning the World Heavyweight title from Triple H, I think it was a brilliant match. Back and forth, Triple H, Michaels go, continuing the feud of Triple H and Michaels. It was a great way. It was a great feud, but with Chris Benoit winning the World Heavyweight title, I think that just beats the feud of Triple H and Michaels. All right, number 1, The Rock versus Stone Cold Steve Austin at WrestleMania 17. People would be saying, why didn't you put the first encounter or the third encounter in? Because the second encounter was better. The second encounter is better than the first and the third. I like the third. It also gets an honorable mention along with the first one. But I think the second match did better than the first. Turning Stone Cold Steve Austin heel was one of the best ways I have ever seen a wrestler do. Having Vince McMahon come into the ring as a no disqualification match and turning Stone Cold Steve Austin heel was great. But I think back and forth as the match goes, with The Rock hitting rock bottoms, Stone Cold hitting some Stone Cold stunners, chair shots galore, this and that. It was brilliant. It was all brilliant. Continuing on, we have the top 6 worst WrestleMania main event matches. And yeah, it's not that very difficult. All right, for number 6, I have The Rock versus John Cena at WrestleMania 29. Now, I know I've put it as one of the best WrestleMania main events, but I think 29 was just pretty boring. Now, it did sort of the same thing like the last main event between The Rock and John Cena. It doesn't really make any difference with this main event. It was just World Heavyweight title, rock bottom this, attitude adjustment this. It was just basically the same thing. Number 5 is Bam Bam Bigelow versus Lawrence Taylor at WrestleMania 11. And a Madden football player in the WrestleMania main event? Seriously? Now, I've been thinking to myself, like, what were they thinking? Now, I know it's a way to promote the Madden football sports, but still, it should have been like a mid-card match. What actually gave them the balls to think that this would be a perfect main event for WrestleMania 11? Now, overall, the match wouldn't be that horrible if it was a mid-card match or an opening match, but still, it shouldn't even be the main event. Number 4 is Roman Reigns versus The Undertaker at WrestleMania 33. Roman Reigns. How I love pissing on you. What made WWE think that having Roman Reigns beat The Undertaker at WrestleMania 33 was great? Who thinks that? No one. No one thinks it's great. Now, I wasn't a big fan of this match when it was teased at the Royal Rumble last year, but I have no idea what to say about Roman Reigns versus The Undertaker at WrestleMania 33. I really don't. The fact that Roman Reigns entered at number 30, which it should have been either Samoa Joe, Finn Balor, Broken Matt Hardy, or Shinsuke Nakamura, any one of them. Having Roman Reigns at number 30 is just one of the dumbest decisions that WWE has ever done in recent memory. Probably even dumber than the last entry to my 6 worst WrestleMania main events. But having Roman Reigns eliminate The Undertaker at the Royal Rumble and beat The Undertaker at WrestleMania 33. It was just infuriating. But as good as WrestleMania 33 was, the main event was terrible. But believe me, I have an even worse main event later in this top 6. For number 3, I have Yokozuna versus Hulk Hogan. Now, the original main event was Yokozuna versus Bret Hart for the WWE title at WrestleMania 9. Now, I already put WrestleMania 9 in there as the worst, as one of the worst WrestleManias there is. And I think this match alone made WrestleMania 9 terrible. Hulk Hogan had a match with Grievous the Barber Beefcake in a tag team match, and later in the night when Yokozuna beat Bret Hart for the WWE title, he came out, Mr. Fuji and Yokozuna challenged Hulk Hogan in a 22-second WWE title match. Hulk Hogan won. It was terrible. Number 2 was The Miz and John Cena and for the WWE title at WrestleMania 27. And yes, I already said that 27 is the worst, one of the worst WrestleManias there is. But I think this main event was the worst match the second worst main event overall. I put down Michael Cole and Jerry Lawler as the absolute worst main event of all WrestleMania match of all time. But I think this match is the second worst out of the card. The Miz cashed in WWE the Money in the Bank briefcase on Randy Orton in November of 8 years ago. And then he had a all-right kind of role as WWE champion. It was really good as a heel, and still good as a heel today. And Big Match John tries to be the hero and tries to take the WWE title away from The Miz, which he did at Extreme Rules, not at WrestleMania because of The Rock. And I have no idea what to say. The Miz and John Cena closing out WrestleMania 27. It's a good way to close out a Raw or a house show. It's just not a perfect way to close a WrestleMania. And number 1, easily the worst main event of all time, Roman Reigns versus Triple H at WrestleMania 32. I have nothing else to say. How could you be this stupid? How could you be this stupid? Like, WWE is trying to book Roman Reigns as the big dog of the WWE, in which he's a complete failure. He's a big, big failure. And with Roman Reigns, his feud with Triple H, it was just terrible. I did like how Triple H came back in the Royal Rumble. I just didn't like how this feud was going. Triple H wins WWE Championship. Roman Reigns wins at Fastlane. Roman Reigns wins. Don't really care. This match is over. And this list is over. Now, I did my WrestleMania 34 predictions, and I think there's another big event that should be mentioned for predictions. As a matter of fact, 2 big matches, big pay-per-views that should be predicted. Okay, so for NXT TakeOver New Orleans, Andre and Cien Almas versus Aleister Black for the NXT title. And aside from Johnny Gargano and Andre Cien Almas, it was one of the best matches I've ever seen. But I think with Aleister Black versus Andre Cien Almas, I think this is going to be even better. Because Aleister Black is the god of NXT. I absolutely love Aleister Black. I think he deserves to win the NXT heavyweight title. I think Andre Cien Almas should drop the NXT title to Aleister Black, move over to the main roster, or appear in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, do something after NXT New Orleans, and make your name bit huge. Ember Moon versus Shayna Baszler for the NXT Women's Championship. Now, this happened at the last TakeOver. I watched it. And, yeah, this one's odd. Like, I've looked at Shayna Baszler, and this woman's untouchable. I say give Shayna Baszler the women's title. I say move Ember Moon to the main roster as well. Put her in the Women's Battle Royal at WrestleMania 34. Give Shayna Baszler the women's title. Make her the dominant female of NXT. And yeah. All right. Now, this is an interesting one. The Undisputed Era's Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly versus the Authors of Pain versus Roderick Strong and Pete Dunne for both the NXT Tag Team Championships and the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic Trophy. Now, I love the Undisputed Era. I love the Undisputed Era as they are. Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, and Bobby Fish. I think the Red Dragon and Future Shock combined as one makes a brilliant trio. But with Bobby Fish out, Adam Cole has to take his place in defending the NXT Tag Team titles against the Authors of Pain and Roger Strong and Pete Dunne. Now, for this match, I say have Roderick Strong and Pete Dunne to win the NXT Tag Team Championships and the Dusty Rhodes Trophy. Because, not just because who they are, they're both brilliant. They're both great as professional wrestlers, but I think Pete Dunne and Roderick Strong both deserve to win the NXT Tag Team titles and the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Trophy. I say move the Authors of Pain to SmackDown or Raw, mainly SmackDown because their tag team division is just dying. Same will go to Raw. Same as Raw. Both tag team divisions are dying right now. Keep the Undisputed Era as in NXT. Let those guys have a rematch for the NXT Tag Team titles against Roderick Strong and Pete Dunne. And, yeah. All right, finally. Well, there is also Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano. I say have the AJ Styles of NXT, Johnny Gargano to win that match. I think this feud's great. I say Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano is probably one of the best feuds there is on NXT. And I say after New Orleans, Johnny Gargano can move up to the main roster, go to SmackDown, maybe appear in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. That would be really good. All right, finally, the NXT North American Championship in a ladder match. 6 participants in this match. Adam Cole, Ethan Carter III, also known as EC3, Killian Dane, Lars Sullivan, Velveteen Dream, and Ricochet. Now, I love all 6 of these wrestlers. Velveteen Dream I'm kind of interested in. Especially Adam Cole. I absolutely love Adam Cole. Ricochet, I absolutely love as well. I think, this is hard to say. Like, I love all 6 of these wrestlers. And I say give Velveteen Dream the NXT North American title. Or hell, give Adam Cole the NXT North American title. Or Ricochet. Or maybe even Lars Sullivan. This is EC3's return to NXT. And I say give him some time. Give him a run with the NXT title in the near future. Give Killian Dane the North American title in the near future as well. And maybe even give Lars Sullivan the title as well. And maybe even Ricochet for the NXT World title as well. All right, now my Ring of Honor Supercard of Honor predictions. Now, I won't be talking about the Ring of Honor Women's Champion because the tournament's still going. Cody Rhodes versus Kenny Omega. Now, I was interested in this match between Cody and Kenny Omega. Ever since their in-club battle between each other, since Kenny Omega is now pairing up with Kota Ibushi and a couple of other New Japan stars, I think Kenny Omega should win this match. It's gonna be a hard one to say because I love Cody Rhodes and Kenny Omega, but I think Kenny Omega deserves to win this more. Dalton Castle versus Marty Scurll for the Ring of Honor World Championship. I say give it to Marty Scurll. Right off the bat, give it to Marty Scurll. I love this guy. He deserves to be Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Champion. Continuing on, Hangman Page versus Kota Ibushi. Now, may not be a huge fan of Hangman Page, but I'm a huge fan of Kota Ibushi. Watching him in the WWE Cruiserweight Classic and looking at him in World Pro Wrestling, I think this guy should be the next IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion, or hell, any champion in New Japan. I say give him the win, and yeah. SoCal Uncensored versus the Young Bucks and Flip Gordon. I've talked about Flip Gordon before on the podcast before, and him pairing up with the Young Bucks is like a kid in a candy store. I say give the Young Bucks and Flip Gordon the Ring of Honor 6-man tag team championship. There's no other reason. There's nothing to say right here. The Young Bucks and Flip Gordon would make a brilliant trio. SoCal Uncensored. I am a fan of the Addictions, Frankie Kazarian and Christopher Daniels, and seeing them as SoCal Uncensored just kind of bores me. But looking at the Young Bucks and Flip Gordon, I think they deserve to win the 6-man tag team titles. Tomohiro Ishii versus Punishment Martinez. Now this is a hard one. I love Tomohiro Ishii, and I've looked at Punishment Martinez before, but I wasn't really that interested in him. So I say give Tomohiro Ishii the win because the guy's an icon. The Ring of Honor World Television title between Kenny King and Silas Young. I've looked at both of these guys before, and both of them are just great. They're great. But this is a hard one because I like both of them. I say give Kenny King the win. Yeah. Kenny King's more greater than Silas Young. I say give him the win. Sorry, just having a drink. Okay. Now, the last match I'm going to be talking about is the Briscoes versus the Dream Team of Jay Lethal and Hiroshi Tanahashi for the Ring of Honor World Tag Team titles. Now, looking at this combination between Jay Lethal and Hiroshi Tanahashi, I think that would make a brilliant team. Not only the brilliant feud, but the brilliant team. And looking at the Briscoes, I absolutely love these guys. Seeing them as the 9-time Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions makes me proud to be a fan of the Briscoes. I looked at these guys, and they're amazing. The first time I looked at these guys was at Wrestle Kingdom 10, and they were they were amazing. What can I say about the Briscoes? They're probably the best team in Ring of Honor aside from the Young Bucks. But for this match between the Briscoes and Lethal and Tanahashi, I'd say the Briscoes. I say give Lethal and Tanahashi a feud between each other, or give them some time to develop as a team. And yeah. All right. I think to close the show off is with Fastlane. Now, I was going to talk about Fastlane. a little bit earlier in the show, but I think it's the right time to talk about Fastlane right here. All right, I've got Fastlane up on here. For the pre-show, we have Breezango and Tyler Breeze versus Mojo Rawley versus Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin. A absolute disgrace of a 6-man tag team match. Breezango and Tyler Dillinger won it. I actually didn't watch the match. It was a pre-show match. It was Breezango. Get them off my TV. Shinsuke Nakamura versus Rusev. Rusev lost this match. I didn't mind the match. It was a 2.5 stars. I kind of liked it. And with Shinsuke's build with AJ Styles to WrestleMania 34, it's looking all right. Didn't really mind it. Didn't mind the match. Didn't mind the build-up through Fastlane. It was okay. Randy Orton versus Bobby Roode for the United States title. Randy Orton won it via RKO. Now, I said earlier in the show that it should have been a triple threat match with Orton, Roode, and Mahal. But, yeah, and I didn't really care about this match. I didn't really care. It gets 2 stars. Randy Orton's the new United States champion. He's probably going to lose it to Rusev. I stand by my predictions for WrestleMania 34. WrestleMania 34 will be Rusev Day if Rusev wins the United States title. Natalya versus Carmella versus Becky Lynch and Naomi. It's another tag team match. I didn't really care, but it was about time that Natalya and Carmella get some camera time. Now I want to talk about Natalya for 1 second. A few months ago at Clash of Champions, where she lost the Lumberjill match, a few months ago at Clash of Champions, it looked like that the fans. She said that the fans turned on her. She said that SmackDown turned on her. It sort of looked like and sounded like that she was gonna move to Raw, but it didn't look like it. Well, it looked like it, but it didn't really happen. I didn't really get that. But back on subject, Natalya and Carmella beat Becky Lynch and Naomi. Didn't really care. It sort of gets 1.5 stars. I'm gonna move on. The Usos versus the New Day for the SmackDown Tag Team titles. Like I said earlier, this should have been the Bludgeon Brothers versus the Usos, or a triple threat match between the New Day, Bludgeon Brothers, and New Day, and Usos. Sorry. And overall, I didn't mind it. It was copied move after copied move. It was just mostly copied moves. The Bludgeon Brothers came in, bashed the living hell out of the New Day and the Usos. Now, like I said, the Bludgeon Brothers deserve to be in this match and deserves to be SmackDown Tag Team Champions. I stand by my predictions, and I hope the Bludgeon Brothers win. This is their time. This is the Bludgeon Brothers' time. This is Luke Copper and Eric Rowan's time. I'm sick of watching these guys being second guest. They should be the first guest. Have these guys win the SmackDown Tag Team titles at WrestleMania. This is their time. Charlotte Flair versus Ruby Riott. There was no one else left for Charlotte to take on. But yeah, I didn't really care about this match either. It just wasn't good for my taste. But the ending was all right. I liked the ending. Charlotte beat Ruby Riott by submission. We have Asuka coming out and challenging Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania 34 for the SmackDown Women's title. Like I said about most of these other matches, I stand by my predictions. And yeah. And AJ Styles versus John Cena, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Dolph Ziggler, and Baron Corbin in a 6-pack challenge. It was a triple threat match to start with. Then it was a fatal 5-way. Then it turned into a 6-pack challenge because of John Cena. I was thinking to myself, was there going to be any more superstars to be added to the WWE title? Was there going to be Rusev? Was there going to be, I don't know, Randy Orton? Was there going to be Sarah Logan? You know, since she looks like a male. But anyways, I did like this match. I did like the 6-pack challenge. Wouldn't mind it more if it was a fatal 5-way or a triple threat. Should have stayed as a triple threat match anyways. But with the storyline between Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, and Shane McMahon was kind of the highlight of this match. You know, with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn going at it head-to-head, fighting over the right to be WWE Champion. Then Kevin Owens super kicking Shane McMahon by accident. Didn't really look like by accident. Though Kevin Owens was shocked that Shane McMahon cost him the WWE title. Then Sami Zayn went for Haluva kick. And then bang, 1-2. Then Shane pulls the ref. It was like, oh, wow. How long are they going to keep this up? I was saying to myself during this match, how long are they going to keep this up? Like, this storyline's been dead for weeks now. I don't know how long they're going to be keeping this up. Though the end of the match was good. I did like how AJ Styles won this match. And like I said about some of the other matches, my prediction stands with Shinsuke Nakamura winning the WWE title and headlining SummerSlam. Maybe headlining SummerSlam as WWE Champion. Though I would like to see a rematch between Nakamura and Styles for the WWE title. But I think that's also SummerSlam worthy. Okay, people, that's the 2Sweet podcast. If you liked it, let me know if you liked it or not. And I hope you guys have a good Easter. I'll be seeing you guys in 2 weeks. We'll be off for the holidays. I'll be thinking of some more rumors. Thinking about what could go for the future for WWE, and I'll be reviewing WrestleMania 34 with Don if he's here. I'll be reviewing Super Card of Honor. I'll be reviewing NXT Takeover New Orleans, and I'll see you guys. I'll see you guys in 2 weeks. 2Sweet. Good night, folks. Enjoy your Easter.